Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of light and secret knowledge wherever you may be, you are listening to Points of Light Radio, the podcast dedicated to taking you past the apron and behind the closed doors of lodges everywhere. And here is your host, Stan Miller.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom, assalamu alaikum, ad nastana. It's wonderful to be back with you here on Points of Light Radio. And we're once again going to be continuing the journey that we began a number of segments back with our new friend, Zachary Castillo. If you recall from previous segments on Points of Light Radio, during his previous visits, Mr. Castillo visited us and shared the exciting news about his revamping of the Oddfellows Aaron Lodge number 4 in Scotland, Arkansas, as well as his journey into the Leslie encampment in the same town, the Oddfellows Leslie encampment in the same town. Right? I mean, it was so exciting. I mean, and interesting to follow him basically through these segments on this journey. And this is the last of that series that I'm bringing you today. But here, Mr. Castillo will be continuing his explanation and his story of his journey where he left off by taking us into his journey into the Patriarchs Militant and his work as well there in rebuilding the Patriarchs Militant in his area. Just to give you some brief insight, the Patriarchs Militant, we've covered them here before, but it is the highest branch of the Independent Order of Oddfellows. The Patriarchs Militant was first organized in 1885 by members of the encampment who were military men and Civil War veterans, and it was officially adopted as a separate branch of Oddfellowship. There is only one degree. Right? Now, I will let my guest explain further, right? As I said, this will be the final segment in our series of interviews we did with our new friend, Mr. Castillo. I can't wait, like I said, to finish this journey we started with him. It was actually interesting. We actually followed a person through the fraternal journey. Don't you find that great? So let's go do that, right? Let's go let him finish with this. So, are you still thirsty for knowledge? Are you still searching for the light? Then you just trim your lamp and follow me. Mr. Castillo, welcome back to Points of Light Radio.
Glad to be back.
So, you are a member of the Aaron Lodge number 4 in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Had a really interesting journey. I'm really enjoying hearing about this journey you're having in Oddfellowship. I really am. One of your latest was you joined the Patriarchs Militant. Now, I think you had to take a road trip on this one too, didn't you?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So we went again to Dallas. That was the closest one. There is only one Patriarchs Militant in the state of Arkansas, period. And it is ours. It is Tom DeVore, and that is it. There is no other Patriarchs Militant in Arkansas.
Well, let's see if we can change that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, ended up, again, one of the issues that we had was the fact that they didn't have enough members to hold a quorum. However, this one was worse off than the encampment. The minimum, again, is 5. They had 3. So with the encampment, they needed one more. This one, it didn't matter if I even went, by myself. They still didn't have enough people.
Wow.
So, again, 3 of us had gone, and we got the Patriarchs Militant degree done. Now they are able to get that up and going again and hold their quorum now.
So where is this? So you're the only ones that have it. So where did you have to go to get your degree?
This one, we went again through Dallas, is where they did the degree. We are actually members currently of the one out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. We got the permissions and everything done so that Dallas could do the conferral for us. And Oklahoma is in the same, essentially the same jurisdiction as Arkansas, because Arkansas does not have enough cantons to have their own little general military council. So it has to go through another jurisdiction. And currently, they're the, I believe it's Southwestern, I want to say. I can't quite remember specifically what that is. But we are a part, essentially, of Oklahoma's. And it is only composed of Arkansas and Oklahoma. It does not compose any other jurisdictions or states.
So how often are you planning to meet then?
One, again, this one was even worse off. They hadn't even met who knows how long. From my understanding, it had been a considerable amount of time. And again, really looking to do some rebuilding with it. There is definitely appeal for it, because if you were in the military, you can wear any of your ribbons that you earned, any medals, anything like that on your uniform, that type of thing. And so there is an appeal to members who say were in some sort of armed, forces position. And actually, one of the members who joined us on the trip was a veteran in the Army. So he was very interested and allured to it because of that aspect.
Good, good. Now, the qualifications to join, I believe you said you had to go through the encampment.
Yes, that's correct. So you have to have gone through all of the degrees in the encampment. Once of course, all the odd fellows from initiatory on, going through the 3 in the encampment, and then once you have obtained the golden rule, you are then able to join the Patriarchs Militant.
Okay, and you mentioned it was a degree, so it's just one degree, Patriarchs Militant degree?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And how long did that take to get that degree?
It's a very short one. It can be made more elaborate. It's mainly a ceremony that you're going through.
Okay.
It's supposed to be special because you're obtaining the highest that you can go,
of course,
in the Oddfellows period. You have to remember, one of the big things is this is really the showpiece of it. One of the big things was, say, back in the day, you had to have gone through a lot. You had to have been a member for quite a while, had to have be a past grand of at least an Oddfellows Lodge, to even be able to go in and get the Patriarchs Militant, anything. So you were looking at anywhere from 5 to say 10 years, depending on what terms may be in your lodge and that type of thing, in order to even be able to join the Patriarchs Militant. One of the big things is they do things such as military honors at, say, Memorial Day events or 4th of July parades, that type of thing. Again,
it's funerals, I believe, as well. They stand guard.
Yes, at funerals. Something to remember is it's a showpiece. So again, you're going out there and say you're marching in a parade. Somebody goes, "Ooh, what's that?"
Mm-hmm.
It's if they're not familiar. That's right. If they're not familiar with it, people start getting curious. You see people in uniforms that are military looking. You're going to start asking questions and want to know more. And one of their things is universal justice. So they're peaceful soldiers. That's the idea. And whenever you're going around and, the Odd Fellows again is all about helping those in need and all that. This helps with bringing the peace as well, and keeping it that way.
What's the name of your canton?
It's the Tom DeVore Canton.
Tom DeVore?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, yeah. And you say it's in Arkansas, but it's kind of a group of different jurisdictions that get together?
That's correct. That's correct. So this one again is Central Arkansas. There's only one Patriarchs Militant in Arkansas, period. And it is the Tom DeVore one. Almost all the members are much older, which again leads them to more vulnerability there. It's kind of harder for some older gentlemen if they're having a hard time walking or things of the sort, to go, say, march in a parade and those types of things. So members should keep those things in mind if they're looking to join the Patriarchs Militant. Is a lot of those are much older members currently, and say you're more spry, you may be able to go do some of those events and then help out us as a whole, keep Odd Fellowship alive and the Canton alive.
Well, it sounds like you've got big plans for it too, and it sounds like you're well on your way to, shall we say, revitalizing the Tom DeVore Canton, and are you basically, is this your plan going forward? Is to bring any new members up to this level?
Yes, I would like people to think about that, and I've worked on, as an example, the two members that joined with me and went through the degree with me. Both of them were people who I had recruited, from the very beginning at Oddfellows. And I had a total of originally 5 people. Okay. So my total of 5 people, and I got 2 of them who were willing to come on a trip and go get the encampment. And we also went through the Canton together and received the Patriarchs Militant degree. It was me who went out and said, hey, why don't we go do this? We can start bringing this back, because you have to have that driving force.
And the beautiful thing is now, but from what you're telling me, there shouldn't be any more road trips. Anyone who wants to join these appended bodies and take these other degrees now should be able to get them locally. And I think that's a big attraction to people who are joining locally.
That's correct. One of the things to keep in mind is you'll find Oddfellow lodges, okay, fairly easily. It's going to be much harder to find encampments, okay? And then it's even harder to find a Patriarchs Militant. They're far more spread out. So one of those things is we have, at least with our Oddfellows, our encampment, and our Canton, they are all based out of the same building, okay? We are also in Central Arkansas. Okay, so it's not like somebody's having to drive from literally one extreme of the state to the other. If they wanted to go get, say, the degree, if you wanted to make it a day trip, you could without much of an issue.
And if you have your way, it's going to spread to other places.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's beautiful.
So we have the ability now that we can hold those meetings again and do those degree conferrals again. That is now available to anybody and everybody, in our jurisdiction.
Zachary Castillo, brothers and sisters. Wasn't this fun, like covering his journey through all these different degrees and bodies of Odd Fellowship. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed it. And the other thing, as I keep saying, here's another. He took another road trip in order to join the Patriarchs Militant, right? The lengths this man has gone to on this journey, I think, are absolutely incredible. Odd Fellowship really owes men like this something, men and women that do these kinds of things something. They really do. He's going to great lengths. And, you know, I think it's amazing that he's really enjoying, really passionate. I keep coming up with this word, passionate, about Odd Fellowship. He really wants not only himself to succeed, but also the order itself, right? It's wonderful to hear that this organization is growing. I still believe it's growing a little. It's getting there's a little bit of a renaissance happening with the Odd Fellowship, at least in the United States. From my observations, it might be just me. I don't know about you, right? I've learned a lot, and I do intend to have Mr. Castillo back to discuss just where these are, especially like his getting the lodge in Hebert, Texas going up and running. I hope he does, right? I really do. And I know he will. If he keeps doing what he's doing now, he's doing all the right things, he will, right? Right? And it's been wonderful also revisiting the Patriarchs Militant as well as the encampment before this, just revisiting these organizations. This is a gentleman that, as I keep saying to you, I'm so happy he reached out to me, right? And don't be afraid if you have if your organization needs some exposure or things like that, just feel free to reach out to me via my Facebook page or here or even on YouTube, right? Because I am here to help out. I do want to cover these organizations, right? But that's all I have time for today. Before I go, I want to remind you that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. You can also follow Points of Light Radio on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. My Twitter handle is at PO Light Radio. You can see the link to my Spotify channel as well as my Points of Light Radio store. Brothers and sisters, this has been a tremendous amount of fun taking this fraternal journey with this gentleman. Until we meet again, just step into the light.